Hello, everybody. It's
Oh,
another wonderful day, and we're here again on the World Bridge podcast, and we have another interesting topic today. Actually, we're going to continue from the topic we started the last episode, and we're going to continue that today because we didn't finish that topic. It was quite an interesting one, and before we go on, I just want to you know, s- give a shout out to my partners here. I have Modupe and Ademola. Do you guys want to say hi to our audience?
How you all doing, everyone?
All
Welcome back.
right. I hope you guys are ready to, bring out some knowledge today, some insights, and let's impact some lives out there. So
yeah.
the topic is couples and money. I don't want us to waste time. I want us to be able to cover, what we have today. So couples and money. We started last week. We talked about couples having separate finances. We talk about how our, money belief shapes our lives by the time we get married or as and we live with somebody that comes from another background, and the things that we need to do in order to be able to avoid clashes and being able to build together. Okay, so today we're going to continue starting with the power dynamic when it comes to money. When it comes to money, who earns more, who decides more? That's something that's it could be a problem, and all these things that we're talking about is just to be able to help us to come to an understanding uh, so that we can build together. So we're not focusing on the wrong things. We're putting our focus, our attention on what's it's needful. So let's talk about the power dynamics in the family when it comes to couples and money. Okay. Um. Uh. I would say how can I put it? Let me give a little bit. We talk about income differences. Most couples don't make the same income. But when one spouse earns more, does that mean that person is in control? Does that mean that person is the one in charge? How does it work? Is there a gender role? Are there gender roles, cultural expectations? Let's just discuss this. How do you see it, Mudupe, if you want to go first?
Thank you. And yeah, I'm happy to take a bite at that. The fact that there will be, income differences between two partners does not necessarily define the role in that marriage. Because
Mhm.
when we begin to look at it from that standpoint that, oh, whoever earns more per time should take
Makes
the power seat, then we have literally we've lost the intention and the real meaning of marriage. Marriage is not a competition, people. It is partnership. It is collaboration. Okay. So which means two powerful individuals who are powerful in their own state have left their parents, left their family to form a new family. Right now they become together. The fact that one person hands and it has nothing to do with gender, because this is 2026, it's the 21st century, and we see things, taking a all different dimension. We
Yep.
see ladies earning very high, sitting on the top, echelon of power in the corporate America, or even, in the corporate world. We've seen even situations whereby we have the men, we have both women roles and men role, even at that level. So just like the woman can drive that same income that the man brings to the table, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that now you have the power. Every single person will subject, will submit, not subject, will submit to a man that has a vision. So, which means now the man has a role, whether he brings in anything or he brings in nothing. Everybody's family dynamics is also very different. We have a situation whereby the woman might be the only, you know, source of income that comes into that home. And the man is there taking care of the home front. You'll be shocked. From taking care of the children to getting them to school, even making the meals, That might sound so strange in a so-called traditional setting, but hey, we're just saying things that are very relevant, especially in diaspora, things that are going on. Now, that does not give the role of the father, right, or to the woman, because now she's the one earning more, and does not necessarily say now you are the man, you are the one wearing the skirt. No, this is a partnership. It's a collaboration. What can we do to support one another? You bring this to the table. We are here helping, in this regard. Let's make this work for us. And there are phases and milestones in life. So there will be that milestone whereby now the children are all grown. They can fend for themselves. Daddy can literally, find something to start doing, or mommy can start finding something to start doing, rather than leaving now the source of income of that family to one. So I am not of the opinion that whoever earns more than the other, is now the alpha and the omega of that arm. It has to be a collaboration.
All right. So say marriage is not marriage is partnership, not a
Not a
paycheck competition. Okay. So Ademola, do you have something to say to this?
That's just in today's world, and if we really even look at it, the way God actually made man and woman is not for one person to really be lord over the other. If we really understand God's agenda was more of a complement for people to come together as one. And I think that oneness is what's being lost as a result of we not even understanding what is even the essence of this marriage. Why is it? Yes, money is part of the subsets of things that happen in the marriage, but we can't let money define how the marriage runs. Money is very integral in getting things done. Yes, we get that. And whoever's bringing, the majority of the income should not lord over the other person. That's the wrong mindset. That's the reason why marriages break. Because either if it's the man with the money and lording over his wife, at some point in time, the marriage is going to break. And vice versa, the marriage is going to break. So we need to understand that it's all about we just complementing each other. And I think this is so important. This is so apt. And we need to get rid of our biases, our cultural beliefs, what our backgrounds look like, because we're constantly evolving. Things are changing. So we can't be stuck in Timbuktu and we expect our marriages to still thrive. And that's all I'm just going to say.
Thank you. That's so good. And it's very important, both needs to be heard. Both, the two people in that relationship, both of you need to be heard. So I want you to just, ask yourself, think about it. Do you both feel heard financially and in money decision, or is it just one-sided? And if that isn't working, if you think that's a problem, you have to do something about it. All right? Got to do something about it. We're trying to just point out things that could hinder you from building a legacy that is important, that you need to build. So deal with that situation now. Okay? And they said it's partnership, it's not a paycheck competition. All right? So what about in the case whereby we are African immigrants, and it is common from different levels that we have to help people back home. We have to send money home. It's something that we cannot avoid. And what are the expectations? How does this affect the marriage, the partnership in that marriage? Family expectations, is it at the expense of what we are building together? And what can we do to handle this aspect of our lives? Send the money home, helping people at home.
I'll take a shot at that.
Okay.
I think it's very, very important that we all know we just didn't come from nowhere. We came from somewhere. That's number one thing we have to acknowledge, the fact that we all came here for for a better life, or better opportunities, greener pastures, whatever it is, whatever that means to our viewers. But it's also very important that when you left back home, there's a certain way you left back home. And it's also important that you want to give back, but you can't give back if you are not even solid yourself. If you haven't figured out your own way, anytime you get on the plane, they tell you if there's any sort of emergency when that mask drops. They always tell you to put the mask on your face first before you help the next person. So it's very, very important that you are taking care of yourself first and your family. And now you can help. And you don't have to have it all set before you can help. Nobody's saying until you have that dream house, that dream car before you can help back home. Nobody's saying that. But we're just saying that at least your family has to be in a financial safe space whereby there's some type of protection for your family. Because at the end of the day, if you pass on as the breadwinner, then who's supporting your family? Who's supporting your family? So that's very important. And when it comes to that, I think budgeting is also very key. And that's one thing that we fail. So we can have a budget whereby, this money is for money that goes home every month to support anyone. And once that budget is done for that month, then you have to wait till the next month. So that's what I'll say. I'll let Modupe, chime in on that.
Thank you, Demola. And your school of thought is similar to mine. We came from somewhere. We didn't come from nowhere. We have people, that we are responsible to back home. And this is not peculiar to the Nigerian community. It's peculiar to my African immigrant community, my Filipino sisters, right? And my Asian sisters. So we have a responsibility back home to help that sister who is going to get back to high school or to college, or that aging parent who might need medical, support. And the list is endless. So I think I will take a stab at it from the angle of, if I am now considered to be in a relationship that is called partnership, so I'm not going to be the only driver of that vehicle, right? So I have my other party in that vehicle as well. So which opens us up to what? Two families, right? Two extended family. Mm-hmm. So I think in addition to what you said, the budget, the this, the that, there should be a communication. How far is too much? How far do we intend to do this, right? Set boundaries. Because to be honest with you, if boundaries are not set, it will get to a point whereby the two extended families, they have a way of causing a clash between the two most important, individuals in this picture.
All the time. Yeah.
You see, which is why I said, okay, I'm not going to regurgitate what you said, but let me put them icing on the cake and say, okay, what about these two important people here? This is the husband and the wife we're talking about. They're having a conversation. So there is a demand from the paternal side. There is a demand from the maternal side. And then there are some levels of extended. You don't want to understand that there are some level of extended family that they are not, you don't even know them. They'll tell you it's your grandpa's cousin, mommy's cousin. They are so another level. You'll be shocked, right? These are people you don't even know. But now there is a demand on your resource. Couple needs to reach a consensus and have a conversation about this, right? And if they don't feel comfortable in doing that, that is where the rift is going to come in. So communication cannot be compromised when it comes to that.
At all.
Are we still obligated to send those remittances home? That's it. That's how we're wired. Why am I also stressing that? I'll just say the last one and turn it back to Debola. The reason is because we came from a particular sport environment, right, that is not necessarily, exposed to what we are exposed to here.
Yeah.
And so for many of us, the millennials and, and the Gen X, right, those born in the 70s, in the 80s, we probably understood that we have a need, we have a demand to take care of our aged parent, of our family members. But now we're talking about another entire generation. I'm talking about the Gen Zs. I'm talking about the Gen Alphas, right? And the Gen Betas who are going to be born in 2026 and going forward. I'm not kidding. They do not understand that they have
They
to
don't.
take care of their parents.
Yeah.
Why? They were born into affluence. Daddy doesn't need nothing. Mommy doesn't need anything.
Yeah.
Now, this is where the clash comes in. When both partners are not in consensus and understand what they have to do per time, especially about their future, they will find out that the budget you talked about, they will find out that they are constantly draining their future to take care of remittances back home. Demola, I'm going to shock you, Demola. If the coin is turned, God forbid.
Vicious cycle.
I don't think this same set of people that you're overly, vicious to really send these remittances home will do the same for you.
Yeah.
Not that we're asking for that to be done, God forbid, but I'm saying we need to put our eyes, where it really fits.
Yep.
Understand where is our future. How can we build generational wealth? If you don't have it, how can you give it? So many of us now drain into getting things like, well, I don't have it, but there's a demand back home. We take on loans, personal loans. We take on credits. Rule 72 is counting against us. Compound interest is counting against us. It's not going to work. We're not going to build sustainability, stability, wealth, right, in our old age that way. Remember to send those remittances. Send it with an understanding of the partner. Communicate. Reach a consensus what is to be done, right? Follow up. And to be honest, I like to say this. One of my pastors says that you are not the Alpha and Omega. So why are you trying to act like that? I don't understand. Do your due, and right, and you trust God that if you have more than enough, by all means, which is the level we are all trusting God to be a blessing, and not just to be blessed. Which is what the three of us are doing. We're not sitting on the level of yes, we are blessed, we're keeping quiet. We're saying, hey, we've experienced the blessing of God. But now we want to be a blessing. Let's be an avenue through which lives will be blessed, which is the reason why we're doing this podcast.
That's just the important prayer. I'm just going to, and that's what puts a lot of us immigrants in that survival mode, because it's all about just what's the next thing to do? What's the next thing to do? You're working and you do, and I have to pay this bill. I have to send money here. I just want to ask our audience some of the questions that you need to ask yourself. Is this supporting people back home, helping, is it helping your future or hurting your unity with your spouse? A supporting family, is it a shared goal, a shared value, or an individual responsibility? Is it somebody, just one person that is doing it? And you need to, like I think Muduka mentioned that, so Demola, you need to decide how often you need to send it, and for how long. We're not saying we should not take care of people back home, especially our parents. It's a responsibility. We need to do that, but we need to come to terms with what is needful and what should be done and how it should be done. All right. So now we're going to talk about, the focus. How do we get back to building that wealth, to wealth building? How do we leave that survival mode? We're focusing on paying bills. Most of us, most immigrants, let me put it that way, most immigrants, it's all about you want to pay your bills. Some are trying to get their papers right, or stability and all this, and then you forget the rest. But now there has to be a shift. You have to shift from that survival mode to now building the wealth. So how do we get to that point? How do you get to that point? Let my partners, let them say a little bit, and then before we round up today, how do we go from just surviving to actually building wealth?
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things that comes to mind is, like we already talked about partnership, sharing similar aligning visions, because once both party, both couples have come together deciding that, this is where we want the trajectory of our family to be, like especially when it comes to area of finances. Once you have that alignment, it becomes easier because everything else is in priority. Once there's no order of priority, then everything spirals out of control. And I think that's one area that we probably need to start focusing on. What's our future gonna look like? If what are we doing today that will let us to live the kind of future we want, so that we don't become the ones at the end of the stick. And that's very, very important. If we don't start thinking about those things, what are we investing? We stop talking about building assets, owning assets, putting structures in place so that we can have that financial success that we are, whatever that looks like to each and every one of us. Some people want to retire sooner than what the average retirement age looks like. What does that look like when both couples come together? What is that conversation? What is that discussion? What does it look like? And I think these are some of the things that are so critical when it comes to couples coming together and actually building that generational wealth that might be a huge concern to them, or priority, if not even a concern, a priority for them. Yes, Modupe, you could.
Wonderful. So building wealth is not a day journey. You know how they say Rome was not built in a day, kind of thing. Yeah. And so when we're talking wealth, there are certain concepts that will come to play. And one of the major concepts, without taking our time, and I was going to use the compounding, concept. Compounding will work when it is not truncated, when it is not interrupted, when you also start early and you let it do its time. So when it comes to conversation of, survival, immigrant, we come into this country, how do we, or when do we literally sit down, feel comfortable to building wealth? To be honest with you, many of us learned the hard way, which is one of the reasons why we're having this podcast. We're saying maybe many of us made some mistakes, very costly mistakes. And we're saying, don't make it anymore. Don't make the same mistakes so many of us made. Don't wait until, okay, yeah, I'm just surviving right now. Let me even just make sure I get myself together. Let me just make sure I'm doing that. No. You would have lost time by doing that. Many of us did that, and we're having to pay for it now. And we're saying, hey, don't do that. Compounding or building wealth should be a conversation from day one.
Yeah.
I'm having conversations of building wealth from the 20s now. I'm telling individuals, you're back, you're out of college, now you're earning. There is a structure.
Yeah.
That structure will not get in the way of your lifestyle, because you are going to also mark a particular percentage of your earning towards that lifestyle. But you know that you're not using your 10 fingers to hit.
Yes.
Like they will say in my mother's tongue, so many of us, not that we were literally being, anyhow spender, but we were all heavily, sending those remittances, trying to help this, trying to help that. Good intention, excellent. But because we left an environment into a new environment that is a capitalist economy. So whatever it is we earn is expected to just make you feel comfortable. It's just the basis. You're fine. You're not ever going to, break even, to be honest, when you keep on just doing the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And so for individuals who come into this environment, North America to be precise, and you want to rely on a paycheck to build wealth, you just missed the boat. What should you be doing? Just like Debola asked, we're moving away from survival. We've seen it. We understood it. What we're going to do is study the environment where you are. Business ownership is what is going to make you scale through and get you into a wealthy state.
Passive income. Preach it.
But while you are again earning your income, paycheck, whatever you're doing, earmark something for protection, earmark something for emergency, earmark something for investment, you will be shocked at how these things will grow, how it will compound. Find yourself vehicles that work. Find yourself vehicles that compound. Every single person here are subject matter expert when it comes to the financial services space, in case you're listening to us. We literally have conversations about money every day, twice on the weekend, sitting down before clients, showing them how they can build wealth, not only in a safe vehicle, in a vehicle that is not volatile, in a vehicle that will not just all of a sudden give them heart attack, for lack of better word, that will set them up in line with their objective as well as their mindset. Risk tolerance also comes to play. So they were like, surviving and just doing this paycheck thing is not going to help no one.
Not at all.
Building wealth the right way, understand your environment, find out what is working. Business ownership will thrive in North America anytime, any day. Ask those who are already doing it. Partner with strategists, those experts in financial services who will sit you down, design a tax smart strategy for you that will be of benefit to you, to your family. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a win-win for you. And you're doing it legitimately, ethically, and morally.
Oh, yes.
That's the only way to grow wealth here in America.
Yes. That's the legal way to grow money, not the only way to grow money.
I was, enjoying your Mudupe. Okay. All right. We have to bring this to an end for today.
Let's stress that. Legal way. The
legal way. Yeah.
And you've heard it all. Wonderful people out there. And this, it's just so important. This is the time, to move from just getting by and start intentional wealth building together. Okay? Wealth building is faster when couples move in the same direction, not when you are, opposite direction. And that's why we started from the root, from the source, to address some of those problems, to talk on some of those things that could prevent you from moving in the same direction. All right. So it's time for you to schedule that first money date. If you haven't been doing it, schedule that first money date. Come together, do your money check-ins, have a plan. If nothing changes, where will you be? Yeah, exactly. If nothing changes. In 10 years' time, financially, nothing is going to happen. So something has to change now. All right. So we have to bring this to a close today, and we really hope that you got something from all the conversation, from today's conversation. Drop something in the comments. Let us know what you think. Ask your questions. Subscribe to this channel. The Wealth Bridge. Share this series with married couples around you, and also let us know your thoughts. So until next time, remember, you didn't just marry for love. You married to build the future. So start building that future. Thank you, Modupe and Ademola. Let's go back and cook something for next episode of the Wealth Bridge. So we'll be back. Thank you, everyone.
Always a pleasure to be with you, ladies.
Bye.
All right, our viewers.